Good evening, scholars, and welcome back to the Restricted Collection, a podcast about tabletop games. I'm your host, the head librarian, Chad, and this evening we are joined by our liaison to the Silver Twilight Lodge, Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Hello, hello.
And our amygdalin keeper, Pat.
Hello.
I've done that before, too, where I will ask Nick how he's doing, and then I will introduce you and then not. How are you
And
doing,
just
Pat?
not say anything, and I'm just like left on the hook, being like, do
Yeah.
I say something? Do I go right?
Yeah.
But then you go left, and then we just keep
Yeah.
running into each other. It's like we can't
No.
keep meeting like this.
How you
The
doing,
whole
Pat?
time Yakety Sax is playing in the background.
I'm all right. I definitely have like a track of Yakety Sax constantly playing in my mind. It makes things very confusing, and probably one of the reasons that I'm not a great listener.
Find yourself in hallways in corridors with a number of doors in it, and you keep like going into one and coming out another one.
No, that's Scooby Doo.
I know, but it's the same thing.
I don't have Scooby Doo aphasia.
I'm
Scooby Doo
just
aphasia. Yeah.
kind of mining the same bit.
Mining.
Better than hippos.
Mining.
Well, on that note, this is going to be one of the Time Warp episodes where we're going to talk about a campaign that was played and not recorded. And this was all of our blind playthroughs of the Night of Vespers campaign, designed by AH.082, if I remember exactly how it's spelled. The same person who does, well, it's all lowercase, so it's like ugh.
That's probably more accurate.
But it's the same person who designed the Bloodborne campaign. So what I figured we'd do is kind of go over, overarching the campaign, and who we played as, and then we can kind of just go through the scenarios and give our thoughts on it. So I decided to play as Stanley Mitchell Esquire, the attorney, the custom investigator I made due to George Barnaby being great and amazing at who George Barnaby is, but not exactly giving me the vibes of an attorney. And I remember asking you guys after the fact that, like, yeah, you thought he was, pretty decent, more or less on par for power level.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us was like egregious on power level.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the danger with custom cards is always that they're above curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I didn't think that.
There were player cards that came with this set, and they seemed pretty interesting. And what quickly became a cornerstone of my deck was a 5 XP specialist card, Detachment. Permanent, limit 1. You get +1 will and +1 intellect, as well as +1 sanity, but you're not allowed to have any item or ally cards in your deck.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then you can exhaust it once per round to either reduce the cost of an event by 2 or, make an event that you play fast. And honestly, I thought that was a neat wrinkle to the deck. It let me play my cards, my already fairly event-focused deck, faster. So, yeah, I was our main Clover. Nick, you were playing as Isabella LaFrida.
I actually think, but
Frata. A custom investigator that came out. I'm blanking on who designed Dark Matter. But Axolotl, same designer as Dark Matter, came out with Isabella. What did you think of Isabella?
Isabella is weird. it also kind of hurt my brain. I didn't know how to do my turns. Sometimes I would end up with way more actions on a turn than I intended to have, and I just kept going. Sometimes she was fun though.
Yeah, in retrospect, I guess I should have noted the Stanley Mitchell's ability is he gets an additional action each round that can only be used on action abilities on scenario cards. Kind of deal with things that way, and he's primary seeker. And then Isabel is a rogue who gets an additional action each turn just straight up, but if she takes the same action twice, her turn immediately ends. And then Elder Signs just give her extra actions that don't count against her limit, and it just... the annoyance on your face sometimes when you drew an Elder Sign to just add to this string of actions was comical.
I did play that up a little bit, but it was mostly because it happened definitely one time where I was like, no, my turn was supposed to be over. I don't have any other things that I was planning on doing with this turn.
Yeah.
And then I drew another Elder Sign. I'm like, I'm mad about this Elder Sign. I don't know what to do.
Draw a card. Gain a resource.
Draw a card.
That's what happened.
What was the 5 XP exceptional card that was like a cornerstone of your deck?
Yes, this was one of the custom player cards that came in it, called the Tear of Ezreali Freda. God, that card was awesome. Love that thing. It was effectively a component action that just let me either draw 2 cards, gain 3 resources, or deal 2 damage to an enemy, and had charges on it that replenished 1 per turn.
Yep.
So it was just great. It was always just a spare action that I could just like toss as a break to do whatever. That was always beneficial.
Yeah.
That one particular card really helped me sequence a bunch of things very nicely.
And then lastly, Pat, you
And
were playing
Leasley.
Not even close.
No.
Not even close.
You handled so much in this campaign. Pat was playing as Parallel Agnes. So how was it being a mystic?
It was fun.
It was a weird mystic.
Yeah, my only other experience with Mystic was Lily Chen, but
Yep.
she's also more Guardian than Mystic, or I don't know. She didn't
upgrades
feel
Guardian.
like other Mystics that I've seen. But yeah, Parallel Agnes was fun. After the first couple scenarios, like we're like, okay, what are the issues? Like, or where are the weak spots? And it was just resources and card draw. So we addressed that, and then it was pretty crazy good. Like, I had no qualms about using blood magic whatsoever because I could always get that health back, and it's just insane. Like, pretty much a free ability as far as I was concerned. Until the last 2 scenarios where nothing worked. But that's neither here nor there.
We made it through.
We sure did.
The custom card that was important to your deck is there was a level 2 survivor ally, Nora Roberts. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, but you could fast deal, so 2 health, 3 horror, fast deal a horror to her to heal an investigator at your location, 1 damage or horror. And then if you killed something, you can shuffle her back into your deck.
It's better than that. It's better than that.
Sorry.
That first effect, so you deal a horror to Nora, and then an investigator at location heals a damage or horror, and then shuffle a card from your discard back into your deck. Right, and I'm already playing Parallel Agnes, so I'm already reducing cost by taking damage and then shuffling things back into my deck. And then the secondary effect, not to steal your thunder, or the second
go.
effect was that after you defeat an enemy, you can, I think, do a horror to Nora and then shuffle her back into your deck. I think that's what the effect was. Something like that.
Well, I think it was just that you. Is it just that you get to shuffle back in your
Oh,
deck to clear
yeah,
out all the damage
yeah.
for her?
I didn't think it dealt her damage, but effectively, like, you would build up the battery of healing and card recycling back into the deck, and then defeat an enemy at the right time, and you effectively clear her off of horror and put her back into your deck, which was, I had 2 copies of her, so.
Yeah.
But she got me back bandages, she got me back spells that I didn't sacrifice for, she got me back so much stuff.
Yep.
Nora was the
Patience.
MVP of that deck. That was a
And she
Nora
doesn't
Baker
even
deck.
exhaust.
Yeah. And she doesn't exhaust. Yeah, it was too strong, in my
She
opinion.
probably should exhaust for a
Yeah.
2 XP survivor card. Probably should exhaust, but
Yeah. Listen, it's nice to play with overpowered stuff once in a while, you know?
well, and like it's. I don't think it's that overpowered, but it's just
I mean,
no. My point being is just like you can only heal off of her 2 times before you risk killing her.
yeah, and then
So
just bring out the next Nora and bring back the other Nora.
yeah, it. My point being is that you can do it a bit faster without the exhaust, and it's really good. But it's more of like an economy juicer for your deck than it is like actually winning you the scenario.
That's fair. I mean, it was like, frankly, the bringing things back from the discard became more of a liability in some scenarios because I should have been thinning out my deck to improve the draw odds of the stuff that I needed. But instead I was like, well, I really want that premonition back, or oh, I really want that deny existence back. So like, let's get it back, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really never in a position that I was worried about like not being able to use Nora, which was felt insanely powerful
Yeah.
to
I would
me.
say, when you had your draw engine going, though, it was kind of nonsense because, like, you would be. It was pretty much like, pretty sure in one scenario, I think I counted you playing. You had Spectral Razor whenever you needed it in like one scenario. It was like you killed, you had at least a premonition or a read the signs or a Spectral Razor just ready to go. It was
Yes. Especially after you upgraded them.
Yeah.
I was. It always felt like you had pretty much whatever spell you needed, and then was able to heal the damage that you took from something.
Yeah. Like I only felt upsides of running that deck. I felt no downsides whatsoever. Even in the scenarios where I was down to like 3 health and like 2 sanity, like I felt completely safe.
Yeah.
So,
Because it was like, oh, I guess I'll have to take a more conservative turn, and then suddenly Pat is like nearly healed to full on that
yeah.
turn.
Oh no,
Well,
I remember Nora's secondary ability. The effect was after you defeat an enemy, discard her, heal 2 damage or horror, and then
Oh,
shuffle her back into the deck.
that's what it was. I was about to say, yeah, there's another kicker to it. Yeah.
So, listener, if you thought already that, and this is not an exhaust, if you thought already based on what we've said that Nora was overpowered, maybe you didn't, but I did. We're just going to keep adding things that we remember
yeah,
that she
it's
does.
Oh, she's overpowered. I'm not.
Yeah.
the
And
real problem is that
if you get all 5 versions of Nora Baker, you summon Exodia and you win the game. So,
Um, yeah,
if
I
she was more
distinctly remember.
experienced, she'd probably be okay. But like if she was a 5
yeah,
experience,
even just
Well,
one more, right? Like 3 or 4 experience, I feel would be more appropriate.
yeah, 3 XP and exhaust just to slow her down a little bit. Yeah.
That feels a little more like in line with like appropriate.
Yeah. again, she's not winning you the scenario, but yeah, I distinctly remember a number of times where you'd be asking how our health and sanities were, just because you wanted to trigger her ability to shuffle something back into your deck.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
I'm too healthy. I need somebody else to be injured to.
I, the
to do
blood
this.
mage, who use my own health to pay for spells, am too healthy. Like that's what I mean when I say it was all upsides. Like
Yeah,
legitimately for like 4 out of 5 or like 80% of the scenarios that we played, like I got to a point where literally nothing could touch me.
yeah.
Which is fun, but is also just like this feels a little too good. But neither here nor there.
Yeah. No, it was. She's one of my. I think power level wise, she's Parallel Agnes is like top. I think she's the number 2 power mystic in my opinion. Um,
She
just
was pretty
because
good.
her decks, like she can just do things and not have to pay for them and everything.
Yeah, she's no
Uh,
Michael McGlenn, but you know, she's all right.
That's the
but
closest
Michael
you can get to
McGlenn,
guns and Mystic.
yeah. Uh, there's there's a gun that she can take from Survivor, assuming we're not counting the hyperphysical shotcaster, but I don't really count that as a gun.
Really.
I digress. Um, so moving on to the campaign itself, Night of Vespers introduces the Jinx and Jinxed keywords. So throughout, I think every scenario, if there is a card, this is a binary check. If there is a card that is jinxed on or at your location, like if the location itself is jinxed, and you fail a fight, evade, or investigate test while there is a card with a jinxed keyword at their location, then you refer to either the act or agenda, it's not always consistent which one it's on, for whatever the jinx effect is and do it. So, for people
Maximum
who've
of
played,
one resolution, even if there's 10 jinxes in a location, right?
yeah, it's just a binary thing. If you fail a fight, evade or investigate, you just trigger the jinx once. But if you take the test again and fail again, unless something says unless the jinx itself is limit once per round or something, you would trigger it again. So for people who've played Circle Undone, this is kind of like Haunted, but for fights and evades in addition to investigates, and it refers to the actor agenda, which means it can change over the course of a scenario. What did you guys think of Jinxed?
It would be really a lot more interesting if we actually played with it.
Kind of. I don't think it really ever affected us too badly.
We didn't fail those checks when
Not
jinxes were
usually.
around. Yeah.
The problem is that those checks are just too important to fail. So like you tend to throw a lot behind them anyway. So like that would only really happen if like an unfortunate chain of events happened and like you failed it, mostly with the tentacle token. Or like if a couple curses were drawn in sequence and then like a -4 or something like that. But like
I think also the fact that it was restricted to those specific actions, like
yeah.
there were a lot of checks that we made on locations with jinxes that were not those checks, right? Like they
Yeah.
were
Like
location skill attempts or like on treachery cards or, all
yeah.
sorts of other things where like if we had failed and the jinx would have procced, that would have led to an interesting like, oh crap moment.
Yeah.
So the funny thing to me is one of my okay. So blanket statement. This is a fan made campaign, and it's less than a year old. It has some errors and typographical things that we were able to, like, they didn't really hurt our experience. We were able to, muddle through them. There's an instance where an encounter set is called for, but it uses what I'm assuming is an older icon. There's some, again, we were able to more or less figure it out.
Can I jump in here?
Sure.
But before, like, we're probably going to get to it, obviously, like when we get to the end of it. But like all that being said, like all those like technical and like little things, I actually had a blast with Night of Vespers. Thought it was really
I
fun.
did too.
And like
Completely
we
agree.
just haven't said that yet, so I just want to like I
Yeah,
want
was
to
gonna
maybe
say.
be clear about where I stand, at least like on the whole experience, like before we get into like, well, here's all these like things that were, better or worse, or we liked or didn't like, or what we changed, all that jazz. Like,
No, absolutely loved this campaign.
Yeah. This was pretty much on par with a lot of official campaigns that I've played, like fun wise and
Yeah.
like quality wise. Like, I think the designer of this knocked this out of the park.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a really fun set of scenarios to play in the story. Yeah. Really enjoyed it.
I was doing a whole bunch of preface to try to say that, like, by and large, any errors that we found did not hurt our experience.
Yeah. And I just wanted to be explicit, like that the experience was good, because we started off talking about our investigators, which had like nothing to do with the campaign, and then we immediately jump into, what do we think of Jinx? Well, we didn't really see it much, and then we go with like, well, here were all the typos. I'm just like, this feels maybe like a little too so far like pointed,
No. The reason why I did all that preface stuff is there is one particular instance of Jinx that I really do not like. And I think that this is like a big error in the design of this mission. And this is the San Francisco mission.
Right, because you've played it through again since.
I have only played it through half since.
That's right.
However, so context-wise, we finished it. So this is how much Chad enjoyed it, or at least had a worthwhile time. We finished it on Saturday. and then Chad, the next day, got a third of the way through a solo playthrough of it. So, like, yeah.
It's a good campaign.
Yes. The point that I'm trying to get at, that we keep booting, and
we're never going to let you get to this point.
Yes.
I'm going to keep interrupting you now just because it's funny to me. We're just in podcast purgatory. Where like you just like the Sisyphean task of being like, all right, return to the main point. Yep, let's talk about what I actually wanted to talk about.
Are we good?
Nope.
Put your point.
Okay. So as minerally, like, I'm bringing this up solely because we kind of had an issue with it when we went through San Francisco, and I had a major issue with this when I replayed the San Francisco scenario. The first act, if you fail a test and trigger the Jinx, spawns a fog token. It's just a token on the board. It doesn't inherently have any effects. And then in the second act, you need to do stuff with fog tokens, and you're given a card that lets you interact with fog tokens. The problem is that when you go to Act 2, the Jinx doesn't spawn fog anymore, it just lets you move fog. And so if you advance through Act 1 too fast and don't spawn any fog via the Jinx effect, then you don't have any fog to interact with in Act 2. And the only way that I was able to find to spawn fog in Act 2, which is how we did it when we first played through it, is via the Cultist token, where you can treat it as a -1 instead of a -3 if you choose to spawn a fog. So, like, that is one definite sore spot of the Jinx keyword for me. Is just like, this scenario completely like stalled because the Jinx keyword switched and we hadn't failed like we should have, such that we spawned a fog. in true solo, the playthrough that I did, I advanced too quickly and never found a cultist token. So I actually said, this is kind of stupid, so I'm going to restart it and make sure I fail a test so that when I hit Act 2, I have a fog that I can manipulate. Like, it's an interesting system. Like, the point I'm trying to get at here is it's an interesting system, and I'm glad that it's basically like Haunted Plus. But at least in this specific instance, it drastically affected my second playthrough of it, and I remember it being a hurdle for us on the first playthrough because we just advanced too quickly, and it having the text change is interesting, but could lead to these like offbeat moments.
Well, I think in that specific example, it's having the jinx be, and I don't remember the exact details, but having it be the only way to get this progression, like something needed for progression into the game state. I think that's the miss, not jinx itself, but like tying jinx to progression through the scenario.
Yes.
Even if what the jinx does changes relative to the axe.
Yeah.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah. Or change
like
the
that
card
was
that
the
lets
only.
you...
Go ahead. I was just gonna say because that was the only one. I remember the jinxes just being like, and this is just my impression. It's not exactly like, deidetic memory or anything, but like I remember the jinxes being more along the lines of if this happened, like if you get jinxed, something bad is going to happen. That's just going to make your life harder. It's not like if you get jinxed, like the San Francisco scenario where you spawn a fog token and then you
Yeah.
need fog tokens to do stuff. Like it wasn't like evolution of the game state, so like towards a goal for most of them, as much as it was like, and now this enemy comes out of the shadows, as an example, and attacks you, or like resolve the hunt keyword on the nearest witch traded enemy, stuff like that.
There was a scenario where you have to the veiled keyword is brought back in this campaign, so you have to clear off all the clues from a location to flip it over and read the text. One of the jinxes was place a clue on your location. Like it was never you're never going to lose the game over a single jinx, but it's going to slow you down and throw hurdles at you. And I generally rather liked it.
It's very much so more making important, like kind of important failures more punishing.
Yeah. And honestly, the card that to just finish up my thought on San Francisco, like with regards to this specifically, I think I might just rule it that the card that you get that lets you manipulate fogs can let you spawn a fog, and it would immediately fix the problem.
I am surprised that it doesn't spawn a fog.
It
I do
will
remember
let you
having
spawn
that
fogs if there is already a fog.
Yeah, I remember having that thought. I'm like, I'm surprised it doesn't just spawn fog. That does seem like an oversight.
So you're
maybe
saying
at one point
in your solo playthrough, like there were no fogs when you advanced?
Correct.
And
we didn't have
the
any
special asset lets you effectively, like, if there is a fog, make another one?
Here, let me...
Because, like, the simple solution from a design perspective is to just, like, when the act or agenda, whichever it is, advances, put a fog token.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't need to, like, house rule a change on, like, an asset, which has more interactions. Just if you need a fog token, place one per investigator fog tokens. Boom. Like upon advancing.
Sure. Yeah, it was just
that way if it's like if you're too quick because you're playing well or you're getting lucky, you're not held back because you need to mine fog tokens or cultist tokens to get the fog. But that way, like, because I remember there was a downside associated with the fog tokens.
They
or something.
blocked rail locations.
Yeah, so like, but then that way when you advance, if you have been dilly-dallying and there are fog tokens on the board, then the additional ones are just kind of like, oh, sheesh, now we got even more fog to worry about. So it kind of brings the experience like more consistent across the two ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to get all bogged down in the San Francisco fog.
But you were trying to get fog down.
Aha. So, yes. For anyone who wants to not hear anything more about the campaign, I guess take our recommendation of it's real good, you should go play it. It comes with a 2 thumbs up recommendation. Leave now if you do not want to hear us talk about scenarios.
Well, we've already spoiled that San Francisco has fog, so if that was the big thing you were looking forward to, I'm sorry.
Their dreams have been crushed.
And also you have very strange niches of your interest, but that's okay, no judgment.
Judgment. I am a little freaked out.
So the first scenario is the end of Seasons. We were invited to the Seasons Hotel, where a gang fight breaks out, and we need to escape. It's
Like
been a
gang
hot
fight is
minute.
Gang
since we
fight is a
played
pretty
this.
generous word for what happened. I'm pretty sure it was a slaughter.
I was literally going to say that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I do not remember there being a fight so much as people just getting gunned down.
Yeah, a lot of damage in that scenario.
I wasn't worried about it.
You weren't. Me, the seeker over here, with low physical stats, yeah, I was worried about it. So this one had a very open map, because every location we went to gave us 2 more options of locations.
I mean, but we could never go back.
No, you can never go back. And then it does reset us where Declan O'Doyle, who's basically been zombified, starts chasing us, and we basically redo the process of sprinting through the hotel a second time to win.
It was very frantic. I do remember feeling nothing but frantic in that whole scenario.
Which was good, because I think that was evocative of the in-narrative experience of what was going on, right?
Totally. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved how you get one round in the like at dinner where everything's nice and you don't have to draw mythos cards and you can play stuff for cheaper and yada yada, and then immediately flips to, if you stay at this location, you're going to get shot and take a damage every round.
I do remember that first round effectively being like something really bad is about to happen, because
they're
letting us do things for cheap. They're like, in what universe does the game be like, take a beat, do some setup? And I'm like, this is too nice.
Yeah.
This game is nice.
I did not have machine gun mafiosos coming in and obliterating everybody on my bingo card for that scenario, but it's
but it happened.
It did happen. You mentioned Declan. In hindsight, what was the deal with Declan?
So
he was
I only mention it because of like what we read at the end, like how he came back at the very end. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what was his deal even? Like, why do I care?
So he was there at the beginning. He was on fire and smiling and laughing.
What?
And chasing us. That was what Declan was doing.
Yeah. In the second half of the mission, he's basically like shriveled up and chasing us and unkillable. And if you want my honest answer to your question, I haven't
how
quite
I prefer to deal with people. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't figured out what exactly his deal is yet, because when you get to the first interlude, you can either work with Finley O'Doyle or Gigi Giuliano, and we worked with Gigi. And
So
so I'm
his
getting
whole thing would have been if we had taken the other path. You think?
yeah, because I'm getting more information about Declan from him.
More about
One
Anna,
shared.
Juliana.
Yeah. So sorry, Nick. What?
We learned a lot more about Anna through Gigi's storyline.
Yeah.
So
Declan O'Doyle is his granddad. He admits with the taste. I was his watchdog that night in case things soured. I known if I'd known the kind of hell he was about to bring down on us with that mafia cow, I'd have planted him in the ground myself.
Mafia cow, Mufia.
That lowlife broad's the heart of this whole mess, indicating Anna Giuliano. For a while, I thought she was just some wrinkled up, good old time gal he picked up from Boston. If I knew what they'd been scheming, she's the reason Granddad split from the crew and the reason everything's gone down the drain ever since. So he got in with Anna Giuliano and is part of the epicenter of this whole problem. I haven't figured out entirely what that is yet, but that's my understanding.
right.
I don't know. In wrapping the story that we had, and admittedly we would have gotten more. It sounds like if we'd gone the other path after the first scenario, like Declan and several other characters who in the narrative seem to have way more importance just kind of do nothing.
Disagree with you.
And it just left me like, especially with Declan's resolution, and admittedly we didn't make that choice. We were just like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if we had done this, and we'll get to it. But like, it just was one of those things where I'm like, oh, it's very spooky, right? The writing was very good. It was very spooky. Like the I got goosebumps and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. But like I was also left with a sense of like, okay, what does that mean? Like, why do I care?
Yeah.
It was similar to like how the reveal that like the one guy, like the mobster who
Jackie.
Jackie, who was Gigi's like fiance or husband or whatever. Like there's a line that almost feels like a throwaway line in like the penultimate scenario that's like, oh yeah, he's like an amalgamation of dark powers actually. And then that just never this is a character that we like have been hearing a lot about and like is arguably the hook of our one NPC into the whole like narrative of what's going on. And then there's just like, oh yeah, he's like a spiritual, supernatural force of darkness. And then that just never goes anywhere. Yeah.
I don't think we ever ran into him as a character in the game.
We didn't.
I don't believe so either.
Nor was there any kind of confrontation or like dialogue with this embodiment of darkness. Like we would have had an opportunity. Like I should say there could have been.
We talked with his parents.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I felt like that could have been wrapped up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
So, the reason that we went to the end of season or to the hotel seasons is because we received a mysterious note, and after we lick our wounds from the end of seasons, we get two notes, two telegrams, one from F and one from Gigi. As we've already discussed, one's Finley O'Doyle and the other one is Gigi Giuliano. We ended up going with talking to Gigi. And so we learned that Anna Giuliano is Jackie's mother, and that her new mother-in-law, they were recently married. And because we went with Gigi, Nick, you ended up getting the Gigi Giuliano card in your deck. Something I do appreciate is that Gigi and and Finley in my second run, they're often as part of setup. Like, yeah, they're important to this story. Put them in play. They don't take up a slot. for this scenario.
That was very kind of them.
Yes.
Well, yeah, the maker of this campaign did a really similar thing with the hunters in the Bloodborne campaign as well. Like when we were doing
Yeah.
scenarios that required Eileen or Alfred, like we would just have them and they wouldn't cut against ally slots, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. It also leads to fun little story moments. Like, of course this person would be here for this reason. So we moved on to scenario 2B. So there's scenario 2A and scenario 2B. Depending on which person you talk to, you'll do one and then the other. So we went to the Nussbaum Academy, where we needed to talk down some academy students while the center of the circular map rotated, which changed connections as we played. And then it ended with us beating up Anna Giuliano.
And also, in the beginning of that scenario, there was a floating corpse woman that was just following us.
Nope, that's the next one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
Sorry.
was the next one? Okay.
That was.
I distinctly remember that moment. I thought that
was the one with the rotating. That's why I brought it up.
No, we had to. There were students that we either needed to talk down. There was a 50% chance that we got a backside of them that is an enemy, and a 50% chance that there was a backside that was like a story card that we had to resolve. And then we got keys from them to open up the headmaster's chamber, which led us to Anna Giuliano, where we subsequently beat her up.
Yeah, forgive my memory. It's been over a month and a
months?
half. Yeah, 2 months.
it's like close to 2 months since we played the first couple scenarios.
Yeah. But we dealt with Madame Giuliano. The scenario was fun. The main difference for if you play it second is you don't get to interact with the students in the same way. You just get the three enemies when that part, because the ritual has already like culminated by that point.
Yeah, nobody's left to save.
So you don't
Very
save
similar.
them, and you get keys from them that you have to get through, and certain encounter sets are different and whatnot. And then after Nussbaum Academy, we went to scenario 2A, Behind Closed Doors. This is the one where
Landlady, right? Like the owner of the tenement?
Miss Leela Starrett, yes.
She can go straight to hell for all I care.
She as part of the setup flavor text for this version of it, just shoots herself in the head and becomes this like angry wraith that follows you around.
I don't remember the exact language, but I absolutely must give extremely mad props to this guy who makes these campaigns, because some of the visuals are absolutely chilling in like the best way. Like I don't know how, like, if it was the writing that put this idea into my head or if it was like just what I imagined, but effectively she kills herself and then her like corpse like floats into the air like Vecna from Stranger Things victim style, and like just without like moving would like follow us around, and it's just so spooky.
Gigi attempts to interject, managing to squeak out an indignant, "Listen here, lady," before she's drowned out by Miss Leela's screaming. "You see only the shadows of the smoke, not the smoke itself, not the fire that it comes from, nor what fueled the fire, let alone who set the fire in the first place." As the building's caretaker continues to rave at you, the sound of gunfire from the floor above you cuts through the night. Lila takes a deep breath, and with all the strength her tiny frame can muster, she lets out one last defiant shriek. "You know nothing!" With a speed she couldn't possibly be capable of, Miss Lila Starrett produces a small pistol from her clutch, presses it to her own temple, and pulls the trigger. Proceed to scenario setup.
I will be completely frank. That whole thing with the tenement lady, I don't normally get like spooked out all the time by these campaigns. That one got me though. I was not
Yeah.
expecting all of that to happen. Because I believe I was reading that out. We were reading through that, and it like was like, what the heck is happening?
Yep. No. So her specter follows us around for the rest of the scenario as we have to go around and try to like talk to and rescue the remaining people in the hotel after a terrible crime has happened here. And then
Trying to get information, and we then get out.
yeah. Because then there's also the enemy on the third floor that eventually spawns. Yeah, that was a spoopy one at the Three Conies. Kind of similarly to Nussbaum, if you get there, you can actually like look at the crime scene and try to help with that before things. And she's not dead.
It's nice.
She, as her regular self, follows you around and is annoying in her own unique way.
You know, better this way. Because I'm sure the Academy would have been far creepier had we not gone there first. So it was already pretty creepy. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then after we finish that up, we meet with what was her name? Madalena. Turns out Madalena is the one who actually sent us the original invitation, and this is scenario 3, The Teachings of Eridia, where we are in this liminal space that we need to navigate and then need to sort out all of these unfixed places from time. This is kind of a
While
weird
also
one.
invoking the wrath of like creatures of those eras and times, like from myth.
yeah,
Yes. Small note, it says in the campaign book that I printed out, I don't know if it's been updated since, that it needs reflection enemies. The ones that are printed on the cards are servitor enemies, so if anybody else kind of runs into this issue, it seemed pretty obvious to us that this is what they meant. Just little hiccup there, but yeah, this scenario, I mean, we needed to, once we made our way to her, like, the Long Quiet, that's what it was. The Long Quiet, her little sanctuary in the void. Yeah, we just had to go fix all these places in Lost in Time, and yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was a little wonky.
I remember that scenario being a lot of fun. I don't really remember narratively what was going on, but like mechanically, I enjoyed that one.
I mean, also at this point in time, you had Word of Power, or Power Word, sorry.
Maybe that's why I was having such a good time.
Doing good work for you.
I said that is when your power words really started to go online. I do remember that because you just had control of a lot of enemies in that particular scenario.
Hmm.
And this is where Veiled comes back for the first time. And this is where I got Stolas.
Bird.
Hopefully Blitzy doesn't mind.
Wow.
So I also believe in the Academy. We got the glass peacock for Pat. With Pat,
Yes.
and gave it to Pat.
Yes, we got the Glass Peacock for Pat.
More will boosts.
I don't remember if we got
All the
something.
will boosts.
I don't remember if we got something in the Three Conies or not. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either.
I'll be
But it is at the...
contrarian and say I do think we did.
Okay, what did we get?
I don't remember.
So it is after this scenario that we kind of figure out what's actually, it's more explicitly told what's going on, that the three mothers are behind this. I am going to apologize now for any mispronunciations. Tenenbrarum, Susporium, and Lacnamarum. The Lady of Sorrow, the Lady of Shadows, and the Lady of Tears? No, that's not. Is that right?
Of.
Oh, they're all ladies of they are the sorrows. Okay.
But it's like sighs, tears, and shadows, I believe.
Yes. And so we had a very interesting interlude where, depending on what traits you have, you could get a bunch of different things. So my character is scholar traded. So, or no, my character is civic traded. And so we recorded that you were invited to join the Tenenbrarum Lodge. Nick, your character's performer traded. So you learned where to find Helena Nussbaum. And then Pat, because you're sorcerer traded, you kind of got the catch-all of Anna Caslow directed you toward an old colleague.
I don't think I'm sorcerer traded. I think I was witch traded.
Either way, it's
Okay,
the same
no.
one.
I understand it's the same one, but like to me it matters that like
Sure.
I'm pretty sure the only trait on Parallel Agnes was witch.
I don't believe that's the case, but it could be.
I spent a lot of time looking at that card.
That's fair.
I would be
That's
really interested to get to the bottom of this. So
here, let me-
I will Google it.
Yeah,
Keep
I believe
talking.
you.
So, depending on what you get out of this, tells you what you can do next. So there's scenario 4A.
I'm wrong.
Scenario.
I'm
What
wrong.
was that, Pat?
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Oh,
She's sorcerer
okay.
traded.
I mean, she is a blood witch.
Nope. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Okay. So there's scenario 4A, 4B, and 4C, but you can only select one if you got the appropriate text from from the interlude. But because of the way that we were set up, we had our choice of them, and we decided to go to Germany and play the Garden of Bones. So we were already at regular Nussbaum. We heard you like Nussbaum, so we put more Nussbaum in the campaign. Because we knew where to find her, we actually got to skip, I think we got to skip the first part of the scenario. And this is the one that ended up with us at the church with the townsfolk who were kidnapped.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, search. Yeah, I think it was to search for the secret passage beneath the city. I think.
Freiburg im Breisgau.
Yes. You're better at the German pronunciations than I am.
Hope so.
Yes.
We feel like I wasted a number of years of my life.
This scenario, I remember the decisions at the end being very interesting, and that there was a tense part where we were kind of stuck in a linear part of, because we were stuck in a tunnel for a while, and that being kind of tense because trying to keep the group together as best we can. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember everything. We got to mostly skip, I think, going through the city, and then we found a tunnel. We spent time in that tunnel trying to make our way through it.
Yeah.
Popped us up in the church. And then
there's all these weird nuns.
Yeah, it was. I will say this: one of those fun parts where it was distinctly lewd and narratively creepy was like I did not know what to do because like the nuns would
Yeah.
like get in your way, but they were aloof and like not threatening.
And it was also
Yeah.
clear they were being like possessed or controlled in some
Yeah.
capacity.
No,
So
we stopped for a couple of minutes just to talk about what to do.
yeah, like whether or not we should eliminate them, or like if there was going to be a narrative consequence if we actually did like kill them.
Yeah. We ended up not killing any nuns.
Overall, a huge success.
We saved the people.
Yes. And we saved the townsfolk. Um,
I want it noted for the record that I'm anti-nun killing.
You know, I can agree with that.
I guess I'll hop on this bandwagon too. Yes, I am generally opposed to the murdering of.
Generally, but not always. Interesting.
I'm opposed to murder. Let's just go with that. Okay. But because we didn't defeat the husk of a nun who was left over, we did not weaken her power.
But
we
we
did not
also
weaken-
didn't spill blood on sacred ground, which was a different
Yes.
check.
Yes. Then, as opposed to going to Naples, which is significantly closer to Germany than it is to San Francisco, we went to San Francisco.
That was your idea, okay? I don't want you to couch the statement like you wanted to do the reasonable thing of going to Naples. No, you wanted to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, because I got invited to join the lodge.
I understand, but the way I just want to be explicit clear that the way that you're presenting this is like you wanted to do the reasonable thing and not the wild ape shit thing of going across the world. No, you wanted to do the ape shit thing, okay?
I'm aware.
I know, but they're not. They need to know.
So San Francisco. San Francisco was weird, but I liked it. Messing around with the fog, running around on the rails, having to need fog in certain places to condense things.
We got to learn
And
the
make
secret
things-
art of megalopolisomancy.
Yes. Yeah,
I thought the railway mechanic was neat. I thought that was really cool.
She really
Yeah.
loved that. I loved how like you could zip around in the fog, turn that off. So it was like all of these scenarios, they've been very fun.
Yeah, and there are veiled locations, but you can only flip them if they have no clues and have a fog on them.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I think that the San Francisco scenario was probably my least favorite.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Yes. The narrative connection to the broader story did not jive with me in the same way that Naples or Friedberg did. When we were at those locations, I felt like I understood the connection to the like the sorrows and like what was going on with the broader plot. In San Francisco, the narrative of the scenario starts off with us going into a gentleman's club and finding out that there's a murderer on the loose, and then needing to track down the murderer. And like, what?
Like,
I
because
thought
we learned
were
that the
chasing
murderer is
witches. Yeah,
because like the murderer is like associated with the Tenebrorum Lodge. That's like the only reason we're trying to track down the murderer. Because it's like, well, we made it to San Francisco, and an extension of our lead, the Tenebrorum Lodge, is also associated with this murderer.
And then the way that we pursued it was we got a book that taught us the art of, Nick, if you please.
Megalopolisomancy?
Yeah, that. Which like felt very out of left field and like didn't come back at all, and like was just odd. Like the whole thing felt like very. It felt like it was a scenario from a different campaign to me, and
Sure.
that's why I think I liked it the least, just because I didn't really feel how it fit in.
If you want my personal opinion, I always felt it was weird. So, of the three sorrows, we have the Lady of Sighs, who was in Freeburg. Lady Tenebrarum, the Lady of Darkness and Shadows, is in San Francisco. The whole thing deals with fog and like using the art of like managing the energy flow of cities. I don't know what the fuck Megalopolisomancy is. It was just there. Fog seemed like a weird thing to be the aspect of the Lady of Darkness. Like, I would have used like shadows and like other things like that. That's just like what feels evocative. Um, I, it felt. I agree with you. I feel like they should have tied in the whole murderer thing into our original lead, and it maybe would have tied things together a little bit more.
So, because I was invited to join the lodge, one of the other options was you learned about the murders, and that's why we came over here. So maybe it's just the particular route that we got there that undermined the narrative connection.
Possibly.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe,
also,
but like if it was just the route, I feel like by the end of it, I would have seen how it connected, and it would have made sense to me in a
yeah.
like a story structure way. But like even now, I think about it, and I'm like, what were we even doing there? Like,
Yeah. We kind of just like
and
got caught up in everything that was going on in San Francisco. we,
yeah,
we like showed up with an invitation in hand and like just got caught up in this whole hunt down the murderer
and like
scenario.
the best part about that scenario was like the witch, uh, the witch vessel,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
the woman who was like frantically like dancing through the fog or whatever it was, like that was really good and like really creepy, but also like was the end. That was the end of the scenario, was us
Yeah.
actually like getting any of that.
Yeah,
It
because we
does
had the
feel like that should have just been the murder in the first place and not have them be two different people.
yeah. So you get the choice at the end of Act 2. Do you want to go after the murderer, who's this dude, or do you want to go after like the aspect of the sorrow, which we opted for that one. And so the murderer went on murdering a little bit longer, but we were able to weaken her power.
Well, and just to be clear, the narrative when we make that decision makes it clear that the murderer is doing murders under the influence of the
Yeah,
witch. Like, and so I remember our thinking was like, well, do we deal with the symptom or do we deal with the source? Right.
yeah.
It
Cut off
definitely
the
felt
head.
like a non-choice. Like it's like you. I feel like you should just be going after this one. It just makes the most sense.
It did to us anyway.
Yeah. All right. And then the last one that we played was A Chorus of Suffering in Naples. This was where we were.
The course of suffering was like a fever dream.
Yeah. If we were going to pick the one that like felt the most out of place to me, like out of place as I'm saying, like if you put all the scenarios in a lineup, like which one feels the most odd comparatively or the most out of the line. Not that it's bad, was this one to me. This one just went from like 0 to 60 of like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Naples and see a play, and well, that's neat, that's nice, that's cool, and then now we're in this weird flooded realm that's flooding of tears and sorrows, and there's creepy music playing. Okay.
I do think that scenario could have benefited a little bit more from like a smoother transition between the quote unquote real world and this realm of tears. Because like the parallel dimension where like bad stuff was going on, like felt more on brand to me than like magical city fog that you'd move with a special book.
Yes.
Agree
Like
with that.
that's why Naples to me doesn't feel that off brand. But like I remember we were making, an off-color joke about like, oh, it fades to black, and we're just like, did we just have a stroke? We're just like watching the opera and we're like we fall unconscious.
Like we had a stroke. Like
Yeah.
it all makes sense with that context. Like this is us, our brain trying to like reconfigure the world.
Like if there was maybe a softer or like a longer transition between seeing the opera performance and like the character, the NPC who was like the singer that was like the unwitting like servant of the sorrow, like
Amalia.
yeah, like if there was maybe more time to like become accustomed to what was going on rather than being like you're unconscious, oh, and now you're in this weird, like, is it real? Is it not? Like, I thought that was interesting, but I think if it was maybe a slower burn to start, it would have landed better, especially given how it ended. Like, which was I remember was very affecting because we ended up like killing her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the choice that we had made, and like when we came back to the overworld, the story resolution was effectively like, the police found her waterlogged corpse in like like stuffed into a wardrobe, and I remember being like, ugh,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a bad like good horror in the sense like it was like horrifying. But like if there was maybe a softer like line or a more blurred line between what was real and what wasn't, that punch that like not reveal, but like that resolution would have felt more like, oh God, what have we done? Or like, oh, that's actually like terrifying, as opposed to just being like pure shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely agree with that. Like it just feels like it's like it just kind of hits you upside. It's like it magically pulled a tuna out, slaps you across the face with it, and then looks at you like, "What do you mean there was a tuna?"
Yeah. No, thematically, like, jarriness aside, thematically this one was very strong. Mechanically, this one was a little bit more of a slog.
Yeah.
Like I would say mechanically, I think this is the weakest scenario of the campaign.
This is the one that had like the depths type thing,
the
right?
deluge. Yep.
Deluge.
Yeah, the deluge.
Oh, and the depths, yes.
Yeah, and we had to like, I don't know, it just was very repetitive. We just had to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that I wasn't a huge fan of.
As I conveyed to you guys, to orient dear listener as best as possible, neither Nick nor Pat have played through the Forgotten Age.
Because I'm an uncultured swine.
But you've seen
The pig.
you've seen Polar Express.
That's true. That's true.
But this mission is most comparable to Depths of Yoth. So, Depths of Yoth, you have a starting location, you need to find the ending location, and you need to collect the requisite number of clues. You go through the exploration deck, find the location, move on to the next level down. This scenario, you have a starting location, but all the locations are like you get like a small map of locations from the deck, and you don't have a requisite number of, well, you do have some clues that you need to get, but each location that isn't the end point that you need to get them at have these weaknesses randomly shuffled underneath them called burdens that affect the way that the game is played. So you need to go grab the burdens and bring them to the monument and then have 2 per investigator clues to advance, and you have to do this 4 times, 3 or 4 times before you then get to make your get the final time where you then get to choose whether or not you're going to go after the aspect or, weirdly enough,
Or do it again.
Do it again, but thematically it was you need to bring more burdens before the mother so that she'll take pity upon you.
Yeah.
That kind of also felt like a not choice thematically, where it's just I don't want to give more of myself to the sorrows. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until just now as you laid it out, but also just in terms of pure mechanics, we get to a point where it's all right, do you want to do something different, or do you want to do the same thing for the 5th time?
Always increasing in scale too. Like the first time we had to do it one time, bring 1 burden, then 2 burdens, then 3, and then 4, and then the 5th time it's now do it again. But now you have this crazy strong elite, and the depths are full up with random things that are wanting to hurt you.
Yeah. As I tried to explain to you guys, Depths of Yoth uses the pursuit mechanic, which makes you really feel the pressure of the things that are in the set-aside area. For us playing this scenario, the set-aside stuff the depths didn't bother us that much. We mostly could just go do whatever the hell we wanted, and did.
So that is true. I would say that the enemies in the depths had a counter mechanic. They had a resource stack on them that would get added. I just consider them counters.
Yeah.
And when they would come into play from the depths, but depending on which of the 3 of these big bads they would have nasty effects, like exile or remove the top X number of cards from your deck, or take an attack, or lose this number of resources, or take an attack, or I forget what the other one was.
We never spawned that one.
Yeah, I forget what the effect was.
But it was discarding cards.
Probably. But that was something that when we did the scenario setup, I was like, oh no, this is going to be really bad. And it just never was an issue.
They spawned in, and they were annoying, but every time you go down, every time you progress a level, they clear. And then at this point in time, Nick already was good at evading things, but Nick just became, at this point in the campaign, this is scenario 7 for us to play. Nick could just be yeah, that thing's evaded because I said so.
Yeah. Well, and the counters on them would increase if they were ever defeated. So it disincentivized us actually fighting them. But
we never killed any of them.
We never killed any of them. They never got more challenging to deal with. They never became more of a threat. And I would think with the concept of the rising waters and the burdens become too heavy to bear, we would have had more to deal with, but they just never, they were just a non-issue. You know what I mean?
We had the option to add a counter to each of them to get a free burden under the monument.
Which is
we
true,
didn't take it.
but we didn't need it.
Yeah.
What I would have preferred personally would be an inversion of how they did the counter management, which is that I would like that if they were on the field when the map got wiped after you did enough burdens, there would be a counter added to them.
Sure.
Whereas if you defeated them, it would remove a counter. Because that actually incentivizes you to do something about them that would detract from the burden play, which would make more interesting decisions.
Yeah.
Right? If oh no, if we don't deal with this right now, they're going to get another counter, and that's going to hurt us when they come back in, versus just just more burdens, because literally there's no downside to just rushing B.
You just needed to keep doing the same thing, but faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the burdens as a random detriment. Like, yeah, you picked this thing up from this location and you're carrying it somewhere else and depositing the burden. Like, I like it thematically and mechanically. It just drudged on a little bit.
Nice because like the burdens there can only be one burden in a location. Like you had to sequence like when you had a burden, you had to pretty much try and take it to the monument. Otherwise, like someone else had it, you would like block the path. So
Yeah, it was one. I think it. Yeah, it was limit one attached to each location, so both of us could be at the same location carrying a burden. That would have been fine.
overall, it was. I mean, it was like I said. I think it's the weakest. Uh, Still provided an interesting puzzle, but it just was
Yeah.
the solution was actually fairly simple.
It's just being able to, persistently execute. It's an endurance run.
Now, if we had done this one first of the three, I think it would have been tougher for us.
Yeah. So if there are things that the setup for each scenario changes if you've done any of the other ones of this set of three. The way that this one became more difficult is that there were 4 resources that were distributed amongst the 3 elite enemies that start and exist in the depths. So,
But I feel like if we didn't have like 2 extra scenarios of experience,
oh yeah,
I feel like it would have been trickier. We would have probably needed to kill them.
yeah.
Actually interact a little bit more with them.
Okay. To the finale.
Zah.
So the finale is Mother's Mercy. We go back to this like liminal space, where Madalena protects us as we go through this quite large map setup. And then there are these various people who are what are they? They're bound. That's what they are. They're bound. So Declan appears here. Gigi gets kidnapped. She's in here too. And then there are
Yeah, Gigi got kidnapped in a cutscene.
Yeah, Gigi got kidnapped in a cutscene.
After she got upgraded from the scenario.
True.
Yeah. But in total, there were 8. Right? Or is it? Sorry, there were 6 bound story assets. And then Gigi. And so, while Madalena once per turn walks from one end to the other, I actually really liked this part of the scenario.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite scenario in the Citadel.
I'm going to be saying this. This is one of my favorite finales of a campaign.
This was great. Like, just talking about this first part, you're ascending a tower effectively. Like it's this palace of the sorrows, and like Madalena, like what Chad says, she's moving along and she protects you. If you're like outside of her sphere of influence, you're going to be taking a horror at the end of your turn, which is like nothing to shake a stick at because of how big the tower is. And like the way that it sets it up is she's like, come on, don't dilly dally. And also she's like, and don't worry about these lost souls that are trapped here. They're not worth your effort, which I took personally and said, no, we're going to save everybody.
Which we did.
Which was awesome.
Burden.
Which was awesome because every time you would do the thing on the required story asset to potentially free it, you had several different sub options on what you wanted to do. Like, did you want to just like let him go? Did you want to like leave him there, or did you want to like take on some sort of cost, which was different for all of them, and then put their card in front of you and like just have that to deal with? Like, I just thought that was so neat.
Each one of them, if I am not mistaken, had an option to get like option A was remove some story asset that you earned from the game to get them at basically no immediate cost. B, take on some burden to save them, or D, leave them to their bound fate. And the first one that we flipped of these was this like poet writer, I want to say, and it was get rid of this item that we didn't have, or remove the +1 or the top two most positive or the highest value tokens from the chaos bag. So we all lost a +1 and a 0 onto this for the rest of the mission.
Yeah. And this was right at the beginning.
Yeah. And then, like, you, Pat, you saved Declan, and as opposed to taking on his deal, whatever that meant that we didn't know at the time.
Yeah, like, the Declan one was legitimately, like, the choice for saving him was, like, write in your campaign log that you made a deal, or you don't get resources while this card's in front of you, you don't get resources during the upkeep phase. And I was like, what does it mean to write in the campaign log that we made a deal? Like, that seemed so, like, suspicious to me. But that's what's fun about these kind of decisions. Like, in front of you are two paths. One is an easy path, it seems, with a potentially catastrophic story or narrative consequence, but the other is the difficult path with a clear mechanical consequence. And so, like, that's so good. That's so juicy from a decision-making standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, like, full marks on this scenario, on this part of the scenario. I thought it was great. Because then we were also strategizing for, like, what could that person do? Like, what if that person tanks your will? Well, who should pick that guy up? Like, it shouldn't be Pat. Like, like, taking risks, right? But, like, making it calculate is just great. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I remember. No, you're good. I remember the moment where I flipped over one and we didn't have the item for the first part, and the second choice was treat your printed strength as 0 for the rest of the while this card is in front of you, and it was me. My strength was 2, and I wasn't using it for anything. But I remember immediately panicking and us having the conversation of, like, do you think this one's going to tank will? Do you think this one's going to tank intellect? Like, Chad, I myself as the seeker, I don't want to risk flipping over this one and tanking my intellect, and we can't have Pat flip this one and risk tanking his will. So, hey, Nick, do you mind?
I tanked my will and set it to my book, and I set it to 0.
Yeah, thank you for taking that, because that would have crippled me.
The hero that Gotham needed, but not the one it deserved.
But, like, we didn't know that was a possibility until I stumbled upon the strength one, and then that immediately changes the conversation for the rest of these. Yeah. And there were 2 that we didn't even play with. You always get Declan. But the other 5...
It was definitely the one that tanks your will and the one that tanks your agility.
Oh, I guess it would be the 2 we didn't get. But, like, I like how that's random.
Goodness.
That you have to...
Thank God.
Oh, I would have taken the agility one for you.
Still, like, that would have been pretty rough.
I'd be a 5500.
5500.
You weren't using those 2 stats anyway.
No, I really wasn't.
Interestingly, go ahead.
I was going to say, also like how the map splits up into 2 paths, and so we had a discussion of where we wanted her to go and where did we want to keep safe.
Yeah, the 2 wings of the tower were definitely a fun, like, decision point.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry,
like, Pat, you guys went down one part with Metalina, and I was like, don't worry, guys, I can take horror and draw a bunch of monsters and generally explore the other half of the tower. And then finally I got to the top with, like, no sanity, and I'm like, guys,
it's bad over there.
Things are bad, okay?
And then Nora.
I thought I could handle all these witches. I could not.
We did get a lot of witches in a row that kind of played off each other very well.
Specifically the one where, like, it would cause the nearest witch to attack you from wherever they were. That was rough. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, or the hunt twice. They move
out
of space when they hunt.
God, that was That particular witch is actually very threatening.
What was I going to say? Shoot. In regards to the story assets, when you flip them over, when you spent the clues / resources and flip them over, if you didn't save them, one of the ways Chad mentioned, it's not like the card just stays there. You would put it in the victory display or behind.
Up by the
would
actual
go somewhere.
agenda. Yeah.
Yeah. And remember that, listener, because that'll become important later.
But at least in the immediate, every card that went behind there made the skull worse.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Okay.
In fact, we had 2 extra zeros in the bag.
Yeah. All right. So we got all 6 of them, and we caught up with Madalena, and then there were 3 possible paths forward. Unfortunately, we were 1 short of everything that we needed for the first path. We were 1 short of everything we needed on the second path. And so we took the, dare I say, generic third path, the failsafe.
We didn't take it. That
were
was
forced.
the one that we had to go down this path.
Yes. So Madalena
was unmade in front of us.
Yeah.
Love that for
her. It was probably for the best.
Yeah. And then we were in front of the three sorrows, the 3 mothers, on their thrones. And we had to add chaos tokens to the bag such that there were a minimum of 3 cultists, 3 elder things, and 3 tablets. And then each symbol resonated or was associated with a specific mother, and we needed to seal each of those 3 tokens of that mother onto that specific mother to advance.
This is all the scenario, like the ascending the tower and then dealing with the thrones. This is peak, pun intended. This is so good.
I am not going to lie. When we set up panicking and realized what we had to do, I'm pretty sure this is where we die. This is part 8 of Portal 2, the part where they kill you.
It gave the feeling that I had. It was orthogonal, but it was similar in feeling to when we decided to fight Cthulhu in Drown City.
Yes,
where we were like, oh God, what have we done? How are we gonna pull this off?
You done messed up, Jeremy. What was the feeling that I was like, well, we're gonna do our best, but I think this is bad. I think this is bad for us, people.
So the only way that we were explicitly told that we could get, before we explored more, was if you dealt damage, you can attack one of the sorrows. If you succeed, for every point of damage you would deal, you would reveal that number of tokens from the chaos bag, and then seal 1 non-tentacle token of your choice onto the mother. Now, if you sealed, you can seal whatever you want on the mother. That's not a tentacle. But if you sealed one of the other mother's tokens, that was bad. So, we wanted to make sure that we never sealed one of the non-matching tokens on any of the mothers. But
I will say this: the guy that made this scenario, we picked in Bloodborne. It's very, and I remember telling you guys about this. Some similar scenarios in Bloodborne, but this is such good mechanical interaction across different game elements that it's just so satisfying. This is when all the gears click into place and you're playing on all cylinders are firing and you're just trying to make everything happen synchronously. This guy is really good at this stuff in the campaigns, the 2 campaigns that I've played.
I agree. I think this finale is just crazy.
Yeah. Peak.
Yeah.
So thankfully, Nick, who ventured forward, found a place where he could evade, and for every point he succeeded by in evading, he could reveal that number of tokens.
And
so-
remember, Nick was an amalgamation of duct tape, bubblegum, and actions. So
You
All
removed
which-
Leo DeLuca from your deck because you had too many actions.
That was a true statement. It hurt. Before I took him out, I was able to get up to 6 actions per turn consistently. It was too many actions. No one needs that many actions.
And then the second mother wasn't so bad because we found an investigate action. Same idea, investigate. For every point you succeed by, reveal a token and seal one on her. So that wasn't so bad. It was the last one that really took us a second.
And just so that everyone understands, like the way that this was set up, it was like the difficulty increased by the amount of tokens that were sealed on them. So like,
The evade one was, yeah.
oh, that's right, the evade one was that.
yeah,
The
the fight
investigate
one
one
was
was-
just the shroud.
No,
Oh.
the fight one
The
was the
fight
shroud.
one was the shroud.
And the investigate one was Doom.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember we let the agenda advance so that it would be like an easy check. And
Yeah.
both the investigate and the evade, you would reveal tokens equal to the amount you succeeded the check by.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you and Chad were revealing a lot of tokens, and then the fight one was just the damage, just like it.
That
always
fight
was.
action. That fight action was the same.
Oh, was
Had the
it?
same effect. Yeah, but you could like choose to not do that fight action that was on the like location, but you could just like fight the mother,
Normally.
like using her stats and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just the whatever damage was done.
But through that last one, because none of us, I mean, Nick had the highest strength, base strength at 2. Sorry, not 2.
Strength
3.
was 3.
It was 3. Sorry, but we like Pat was always fighting with events. I didn't really fight, but we were able, once the bag was safe of all of the other tokens, that because we could, you can seal skulls on the mother, no problem. You could seal number tokens on the mother, no problem. So once the bag was empty of the non-matching ones that we desperately didn't want to get on there, like Nick, you had your thing that could just ping for 2 damage. Like we were able to get the last tokens we needed.
It was kind of a question of if we could do it before Doom clocked us out.
Yeah, but we did it.
Bit of luck. I
It-
kind of had some really lucky bag pulls at the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's also ones where you and I both just went all in on the.
So Superior
on the
went down
tests.
fast because I was
And
able to.
I was there.
Hey,
You did some important work.
You killed the enemies that were making our lives hell. So
This is
thank
true.
you.
That whole scenario, my deck had been stalling out, like for the first time in the campaign since I had like done the card draw and resource gain upgrades that I needed. Like I was just not the engine was not running, so I felt like I was plodding along, just doing my best.
You weren't dying though.
I was not dying, that is true. One thing I can do with that deck is stay alive.
Yeah. So for everyone who remembers what Pat told you to remember, that is not the end of the mission, though. There is the final act. Now that we had sealed all of the appropriate tokens on their associated mothers,
Now it was time to actually fight them.
So the mothers,
They get off their thrones.
They get off their thrones to fight us, and their health is equal to the number of bound cards behind the act. Which is
And so
0.
they just all and so they just all instantly died.
I was terrified flipping that over. Like, there's another act. I have no idea what he's going to want us to do now. Oh, there's
straight
adult
up
dead.
was like, we only have 2 turns to win this. Can we even finish this? Like, we did not have that much time left.
Yeah, we were running up against it.
Yeah. But we did it.
Such a good moment, though. Like
It
that,
was.
like
It was a really good moment.
just bridging the first part of the scenario with like what was the climax for us, and being like all that work that you did paid off. Just such a good feeling.
I totally think of it as it's like supposed to be like a Dark Souls style like phase 2 transition. They get off their thrones and then they just start to like wither and like turn to ash in front of you.
Oh no, I forgot to change my batteries. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It was a great moment of relief, great moment of triumph. I know we said this earlier, but like, it's a real good campaign.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I do think
always
it's one
nice.
of the fun finales as well of like any campaign that I've played.
Yeah, it's always nice when the finale scenario is just really, really good.
yeah. I mean, we also had like a slight deflation of just like, oh, we were so close to option A or option B.
Yeah.
That's just the like story explorers in all 3 of us where we're like, what did we miss? Like,
Yeah.
I felt like we were pretty thorough for most of the scenarios, so it was just like there was like a couple of choices that we must have made that were just like not correct, or like
yeah, there was, because we had missed one of the
could have killed
paths
that
was
nun.
like, yeah, one of the paths was clearly like killing the nun, which, as we established, we're anti-killing nuns, so that was going to be a no-go, at least on a first playthrough. And the other path was the one I was more interested in, because we only had one of the 3 things.
Yeah, like the
That
books or whatever that
you
we're
had
finding.
just got it from like the
Right.
previous scenario, and we're like, what? Like,
We didn't even know they existed.
yeah.
So, I know where one of those is now.
Well, I can.
Oh, look at me. I'm Chad. I have
No.
play the
But
game again.
I mean, I can guess where they maybe are.
No, but one of them
Have
is
you
from.
checked your
Haha.
butthole?
beat up, but
Butthole.
the Tom Cardy, everybody.
Oh, he's great.
No, do you remember how Nick and I have made mention of sometimes they hide things on the back of acts or agendas that you wouldn't normally.
Beans.
There was one on the back of an act or an agenda
Beans.
that you normally wouldn't flip.
You remember? Do you remember there was a scenario where I was asking about that?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember. I don't remember which scenario it was, but I do remember you were asking about that.
Oh,
it was when we were doing the Chorus of Suffering.
Oh,
you were
okay,
talking about it.
So it wasn't that one. Oof.
Yeah, but we had just like brought it up, and you were like it was like brought up again, or like you were like recalling that we had mentioned it sometime, and so like it was just like a neuron thing that sparked it. And it could have been during the finale too that you like were, because you're probably trying to figure out how we could have missed it. Yeah, funny.
So that's where we missed one of the things.
It was in Germany, wasn't it? No, it was probably in San Francisco.
There might be one in Germany as well, but
There is one in Germany. I know that there's one in Germany.
The one that I found was in San Francisco.
No, we missed 2 of them.
Yeah, we missed 2 of them because like they're from the mother, all the 4 ones. That's where they're all
So
from.
it would have been Germany and San Fran, right?
Yeah.
There'd be one per, right?
That just makes sense. They were cool, because they're like weakness cards that get shuffled in your deck, but they're like half bad, half good because they're like they sealed a token on it and then it turned symbols into those symbols. It was a cool card. I particularly enjoyed how they kind of worked.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rank this as a you know, in the way that I typically rank things, in like a high, mid, low. I would give this a solid high tier.
Oh yeah, easy.
Good.
Easy.
I'm not sure this is. I don't think this does. This break into my top 2 favorites. I don't know about that, but I do really like it.
Who makes a top 2 list?
Okay.
It's all 3s, 5s, and 10s, baby.
Okay.
7s.
A top 2, Chad. I can tell you're the youngest of 3 siblings, and I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, the middle child doesn't exist.
Exactly. What to say, like, only in that household do you concern yourself with top 2.
But yeah, any final thoughts from you guys?
Just the epilogue or like the resolution wrap ups. There were elements of it that I felt were not commensurate with the epicness of the finale.
Sure.
Like nothing new relative to what we said, but like Jackie being like, "Oh, he's an embodiment of darkness," and then just like that was nothing apparently that we had to worry about. And the mothers, like the resolution with the mothers being like, were they testing us? Like what was going on
They were
there?
proud of us. That was how that ended.
That felt like it needed to be more baked. Like it was interesting. Like I was into it, but it needed to be in the oven longer to really land, in my opinion.
I bring this up because I brought it up. We had finished the finale. As much as I love this campaign, I think it's one. If I want to call it a flaw, it's not. It's just kind of a style choice on like how you tell the story. Is that I feel like I like the stories where they keep things low to the ground a little bit more, and I feel like this one kind of jumps up the like existential weirdness a little too quickly when we like get taken to Aradia by Madalena in the middle in like this weird place. I'm like, yeah. I kind of would have liked it if we just kept this to like a literal witch hunt and like follow these clues down. And then at the end we go to this like palace of sorrows and deal with the weird, crazy existential monsters. But that's me and like my preferences. But other than that, I thought this campaign was awesome.
Yeah. Thumbs up all around. Am I the only one who's like actually literally put thumbs up?
Oh yeah, I don't have thumbs.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Pat.
Yeah, he was
It's
caught stealing
really
a couple weeks
insensitive.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't even put arms. They didn't put thumbs on your robot arms.
Insurance didn't cover it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sounds like insurance.
Yeah.
Anything they can do to save a buck. Did they at least give you a cool graphic claw?
They actually gave me those like machine, those arcade machine claws. Like, so they just really kind of dangle there at the shoulder. And like I can't sure I can grip things, but like I'll have something and I'll think that I got it and then I drop it just as I'm about to like place it where I need to. Man, it's torture.
Man, that must make going into the mines really hard.
The mines. Oh man. Don't even get me started on the hippo mines.
That is a story for a different time.
That's not something we'll be able to share on the podcast. There's too much context missing.
The hippo mines. Dear listener, just imagine what that could possibly be.
Don't actually. It's better that way.
It's worse than what you imagine. Don't worry.
On that note, unless there's something else you guys want to bring up, I think we can close this out.
I got nothing.
All right.
As I said, I can't lift up anything with my claw hands.
Well, on that interesting note, thank you guys as always for joining me on these episodes. It's always fun to do this, and thanks for. It's always fun to also blind run a campaign. So
yeah, that
thank
was
you
cool
for joining me on that.
Yeah, I like playing things blind. It's fun to experience
Times
it all
that we can
together
never
the
make
first time.
Chad be the lead investigator.
Yeah.
Just make him be the lead investigator because he doesn't even know what's happening.
Now you know what it feels like. Chad's just
I
like, I was
already
blind
knew what it
once.
feels
Yeah.
like. Yeah. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me about anything we've said, feel free to reach out to me at therestrictedcollection@gmail.com. Otherwise, find me around as Barry and Chad. Thanks for listening.